Hello, I'm Beth McDonald for VeroNews.com, and I'm sitting here with Bob McPartlan. He is a candidate for the Sebastian City Council. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you.
Now tell everyone why you're running for the Sebastian City Council.
Well, that's a very good question. And I guess it goes back to, throughout my life, I've had a commitment to service. Be it when my mother had me when I was very little, raising money for the local ambulance corps that she ran, and then also when I joined the military when I was 18 and served over 9 years in the military. I've been a Sebastian resident for the last 10 years. I'm very involved in the community. I run child abuse investigations for the 4 counties on the Treasure Coast. I've been involved with families on a level. I get to see what happens when sometimes cities make decisions, how it affects people down on a local level. So I've been involved in that degree, coming up using common sense to some very delicate situations in order to help and assist families. I've been involved in my community as far as coaching Little League baseball and softball with my children, as well as an active member in my St. Sebastian parish. So this is just, I guess, another progression, so to speak, in order to help my community even further.
Let's talk a little bit about Sebastian and the riverfront area. What is your vision for the riverfront?
Well, the riverfront it's Sebastian's. It's so beautiful down there. I mean, like I said, I've been a resident down here for 10 years, and I've seen a lot of the progression or the enhancement that they have done there, a lot of beautiful projects that have come. And I think the waterfront is almost like a hook to get other people, almost like a day trip, to have people come down there and support the local businesses, as well as, I know there's been some talk about they're spending too much money down on the waterfront and it's not really needed. But due to the nature of my business as well, I get to see that a lot of families that 3-4 years ago could afford to go to Orlando on trips, they can no longer afford to do that. And they can take their families down to the waterfront where they can enjoy it. And I mean, it relieves stress as well. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, another thing I have to go on to is the river is very important to me. It's where I proposed to my wife down on the riverfront. So it holds a special place for me and my wife as well as my family.
And I'd like to ask you how you feel about and what's your position on the CRA expenditures and how you feel the money should be allocated.
Well, the CRA it's a great thing to have down there. I mean, because the CRA money, a lot of people are saying it should be spent like into the general fund. And what I think they don't really understand is that the CRA money that is accrued, it is matched not only by the county, but by the state as well. So it's like you're getting, for every dollar you put in, you're getting $3 in return. And that money is being utilized to promote the waterfront, which will, it helps out the businesses. And if the businesses in Sebastian do well, then the citizens of Sebastian will be doing well.
And can I ask you what your position is on the tax abatement referendum?
The tax abatement referendum, I wholeheartedly support the tax abatement because it makes it attractive for businesses to start up or to relocate to the Sebastian area. I mean, these are tough economic times. However, this also is a right time for businesses that are looking to relocate, that can't afford to do business in some instances the state they're in or another city, and it makes Sebastian that more attractive to them.
Bob, do you have any closing remarks you'd like to make?
Yes, there is one thing that I would like to reference, and I guess there is a lot of negative campaigning that is going on in the city of Sebastian, and I have been portrayed as a liar, and it has been put in print that I, as a state employee, have instructed my subordinates to lie on government documents. And I'd just like to say that is completely false, and it borders on libel and slander. What they are referencing is there was a 2006 Inspector General report that was done. When I was a supervisor up in Brevard County, I was a supervisor of what's called a Child Advocacy Center, which investigates only the most serious forms of child abuse, such as child death, sexual abuse, and skull fractures. What happened in those instances is there was a protocol in my local organization, and it went many layers up, that when a report is received involving a deceased child, that some parts of the Department of Children and Families were having investigators going down to the morgue or going down to a funeral parlor or even going to autopsies to have the deceased child seen. But in the instance when we received the reports, what we were doing is, as long as a child was seen by the hospital, by law enforcement, by the medical examiner, or a funeral director, we were putting down the time seen for the child as the time the case was commenced, which means that an investigation had started. Along with documenting the time that you were putting the child as seen, we were also putting a note in the file. And these case files are time stamped, so it's not like you write on a piece of paper and put it into a file. It was time stamped, saying that the time being entered for the child seen was per the local protocol and, relating to that policy. By them saying that I was instructing subordinates to lie, that is like someone from the department was trying to fabricate or conceal or to hide the truth. In no way, shape, or form was that ever done. The investigation was just going into how things were documented. It wasn't going into as far as things being lied or falsified. And the report addresses this, and it doesn't exonerate me because I was never accused of anything. And what this report also did is it changed a policy, a state policy, that the Department of Children and Families does, that they go with the documentation of a deceased child as the time the case was commenced. So this investigation changed the policy for which my local organization was doing. The Department of Children and Family frowns heavily upon falsification of records. You don't get a second chance when you're doing child abuse investigations about lying or fabricating. It means termination. And in most instances, due to what we do, the state attorney's office looks to prosecute people who falsify records to the fullest extent of the law. I take my job very seriously, and I've dedicated my life to it. When somebody is writing in a document that I as a state employee am lying, that really taints my character, and it not only hurts myself, but the organization that I portray. And I know this election has, I guess, taken some negative thing, and I don't want to partake in anything like that, and I will not spew any venom towards any of the other candidate thing. And nowhere, like I said, nowhere in this report does it say anybody lied, not myself, not anyone from the Department of Children and Families. And again, like I said, it's available online. It's a 12-page report. I encourage anybody to read it. Anybody who's looking to vote for candidates, this is a very serious election in Sebastian. I encourage them to be as informed as they are. And again, I can only say, in no way, shape, or form has Bob McPartlan or anyone from the Department of Children and Families lied, falsified, or fabricated according to this document.
That's very unfortunate that would happen to you. And I'm here with Bob McPartlan, and he is running for the Sebastian City Council.